The 2022 season may not have delivered the desired level of excitement following the sweeping rule changes, but Max Verstappen certainly delivered as he cruised to his second World Championship in as many years. And Verstappen's exploits were rewarded financially as well, with the Red Bull driver surpassing his 2021 rival and seven-time world champion Lewis Hamilton at the top of Forbes' list of the highest-paid Formula One drivers. Forbes estimates driver earnings without taking into account income from personal endorsements, but even so, the top 10 of this list are doing well, with Forbes citing a 25% increase in combined earnings compared to last year, with an estimated $264 million split among them. Estimates are based on legal filings, financial documents, press leaks, and information from industry insiders, and are generated in collaboration with data organization Formula Money. So without further ado, here are Formula One's top 10 highest earning drivers. Number 1. Max Verstappen, $60 million. Since 2013, Hamilton has been Formula One's highest earner, but with Verstappen setting a new standard on the track, he is doing the same financially. According to Forbes, Verstappen earned an additional $20 million in bonuses, in addition to his base salary of $40 million during his record-breaking season, totaling a whopping $60 million in total earnings. Though that may appear to be among the highest-paid drivers of all time, it pales in comparison to Michael Schumacher's record-breaking $91 million contract with Ferrari in 1996. To command that kind of salary, the Dutchman may need a couple more world championships under his belt. Number 2. Lewis Hamilton, $55 million. While Hamilton's base salary is significantly higher than Verstappen's at $55 million, the Mercedes driver has fallen out of first place after a year without bonuses. Mercedes were unable to construct a title-contending challenger in the W13, as the team struggled with a phenomenon known as porpoising early in the season, and Hamilton finished a Formula One season winless for the first time in his career. But with the 2023 season quickly approaching, Mercedes will undoubtedly look to reclaim their championship-winning form. And with new contract negotiations reportedly underway with Hamilton, he may return to the sport's highest-paid position rather quickly. Number 3. Fernando Alonso, $30 million. Third place goes to Alonso, who had far better luck with his finances in 2022 than with the reliability of his Alpine A522. Believing he had lost 60 points due to Alpine's reliability issues, Alonso was at least compensated well for his troubles in that final season at Enstone, with his basic salary of $30 million covering his earnings. The two-time world champion from Spain will be wearing green as he takes up his new seat at Aston Martin. And it's safe to say he's very excited to take on the new challenge with a team he believes in more than his previous employers. No one in Formula One today is demonstrating a greater vision and absolute commitment to winning, and that makes it a really exciting opportunity for me, said Alonso. Well, good luck with that, Fernando. Number 4. Sergio Perez, $26 million. Perez is raking in the dough thanks to a bonus pool that far exceeds his base Red Bull salary. Receiving $10 million as standard, Perez then collected an additional $16 million in bonuses in a season in which he won 2 races, helped Red Bull win their first constructors' title since 2013, and played the team game as Verstappen charged to title glory, all of which rewarded the Mexican driver handsomely. Unfortunately, Verstappen appears to have failed to share that sentiment, as he stubbornly refused to follow team orders in a feud-filled Brazilian Grand Prix, citing an earlier incident as the reason for his decision. Red Bull boss Christian Horner will no doubt be hoping that the two can put their differences aside for another championship run in 2023. And who knows, maybe Perez will be on the top this time. Number 5. Charles Leclerc, $23 million. The Monaco native may have been disappointed to see his title challenge crumble, which was partially his fault, but his earnings for the year are far from disappointing. In addition to his $12 million salary, Leclerc earned an additional $11 million in bonuses in a season that saw him win 3 races and finish second in the Drivers' Championship, with Ferrari matching that finish in the Constructors' standings. The prancing horses will be more motivated than ever to make 23 their year, after briefly tasting glory with a new team principal in Frederic Vasseur coming in to turn their fortunes around. And with even Max Verstappen predicting a Ferrari comeback, it's not out of the question. Number 6. Sebastian Vettel, $17 million. Formula One waved goodbye to Vettel following the Abu Dhabi GP. The 4-time world champion departed with a hefty pay packet banked. Aston Martin paid Vettel a base salary of $15 million for his final Formula One season, with an additional $2 million in bonuses, despite the team falling short of expectations, finishing P7 in the standings and without a single podium finish. Vettel's retirement is a huge loss for F1, and not something a single driver will be able to replace. The German possessed a rare combination of sporting prowess, personal gravitas, and genuine enthusiasm for the causes he championed. He was no longer among the absolute elite, but the grid is still weaker without him, and his absence will leave the F1 community a poorer place. Number 7, Daniel Ricciardo, $17 million. Tied with Vettel is another multi-time race winner who now departs the grid, hopefully not permanently, in the form of Ricciardo. The Australian's second and final season with McLaren was a disaster, and his contract was terminated a year early. He is now back with Red Bull as their third driver. Nonetheless, a $15 million salary and $2 million in bonuses will go a long way towards softening the blow. If the 33-year-old wants to stay in motorsport, he has several options, including Formula E, WEC, or even another Formula One team in the future. His F1 resume is certainly impressive enough to persuade teams of his abilities, and his personality is clearly adored by all the fans. Only time will tell what happens with Daniel Ricciardo. Number 8, Carlos Sainz, $15 million. Sainz had a frustrating 2022 season, struggling to get the final few tenths that he needed to match teammate Leclerc's performances. Though he did pick up a solitary win at Silverstone, the first of his career. Financially, though, his season was a real success. His salary of $8 million boosted significantly by $7 million in bonuses. Nonetheless, the Spaniard will be looking to regain consistency as he prepares to make 2023 a better year. I've learned a lot. I'm proud of the progress I've done inside the car, with my engineers, the way that we managed to turn my pace around. And yeah, I'll make sure next year we are back to being the consistent Carlos of 2021 and get good results. Number 9, Lando Norris, $11 million. McLaren was tipped as a dark horse for 2022 with heavily revised regulations in play, but once again they found themselves battling to finish best of the rest, eventually settling for P5 with Alpine taking the honour. Nonetheless, Norris had an impressive season, as he was the only driver outside of Red Bull, Ferrari and Mercedes to finish on the podium in 2022, with a P3 finish at Imola. Norris's bank account will be looking healthy as well, having received a $5 million salary and an additional $6 million in bonuses. And as a driver who consistently outperforms the car under his feet, we may see him on the podium several times in 2023 if McLaren can get their act together. Number 10, George Russell, $10 million. And rounding out the list is George Russell after his first season as a full-time Mercedes driver. Earning $3 million through his standard salary, Russell claimed Mercedes' only victory of the season and his first win with a mighty display at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, winning the sprint and then the main event on Sunday, all of which factored into his bonus pot of $7 million. Russell finished fourth in the 2022 Drivers' Championship, 35 points ahead of Hamilton. The Briton has backed Toto Wolff's conviction that Mercedes has not forgotten how to design a race-winning car. And if reports are to be believed, the Silver Arrows may begin 2023 on a high note. And who knows, we may have a repeat of 2016 on our hands here. Can Lewis Hamilton return to the front of Formula One in 2023 and reclaim his place at the top of this list? The revised regulations put Mercedes behind Red Bull and Ferrari in 2022, but Hamilton's performances, particularly as the season progressed, suggest that the events of Abu Dhabi in 2021 had not knocked him off his stride. With the races in the United States and Sao Paulo proving to be the highlights, Hamilton will now set about chasing that record-breaking 8th World Championship once more in 2023, which, if he achieves, will likely put him back on top in Formula One financially and statistically, as he already holds a slew of records, including the most race wins, poles and podiums. His current tally of 7 World Championships ties him with the legendary Michael Schumacher. Hamilton and Verstappen proved that old wounds have not fully healed when they collided during the 2022 Sao Paulo GP. So if Mercedes provide the car as they're setting out to do, then for Hamilton, the fight and will to win is still very much there, and we may well be treated to the next installment of his rivalry. Of course, the equation will be much more complicated in 2023 than it was 2 years ago, with his teammate George Russell posing a new challenge. Ferrari should also not be overlooked, as the Maranello team has reportedly made significant progress with their car and will be hoping to avoid making the same mistakes this season under new leadership. Let us know what you think. Can Hamilton reclaim his spot at the top? Were you surprised by any of these entries on our list? We'd love to hear from you in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to click the bell button to be notified of future videos.